Hello everyone, this is Miss Cromwell, and here is this like a preview of this week's homework. It's a lot of reviewing for place value. I know that we are starting a new unit this week, but going by test scores this last week, we're going to keep hitting this hard, and you will see this as a review as we move forward. All right. So Monday, it tells you to complete this table, and it gives you an example. So standard form is when you just write your numbers, a number using digits. Word form is when you write out the word using words, or you write out the numbers using words. Expanded form is when you take the value of each of these and then add them all together. And then a model is using your base 10 blocks. So let's give you an example of what this one would look like. So 8,201. So we tell the students to work in front of the comma first, and then you're going to work after the comma. So right there, what do you have? Students just say, oh, we have an 8. Okay, so you're going to write 8. As soon as they see that comma is when they know they are going to use the word thousand. So 8,000. All right, so now you're going to cover that 8 up, and then what do you have left? 201. And that's exactly what you're going to write. 201. All right, expanded form. Students have learned to, in order, like a really easy way to do this, so you know you get the correct number of zeros, is you write the digit underneath. So if we go to that 8, we know the value, put the 8 underneath. Everything that comes after, make a 0. How many zeros do we add? We added 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I would do 8 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. Plus, okay, the next digit is a 2. Everything that comes after, you make it a 0. So we're going to write a 2, and how many zeros? 1, 2. So 2 with 1, 2. I'm going to do plus. Is there anything in the tens place? Nope, that original digit is a 0, so you can skip that part. And then lastly, we have our ones place. And there's a 1. You can write the 1. Is there anything that comes after the 1? And the answer is no. So that is how you would write it. For model, I told my students that because models get confusing since a lot of them are squares and rectangles. And so to help them with their doing this, I told them they could use an X, the letter X, as a representation for a cube, because a cube represents 1,000. So if, for example, if I put it up here and I'm sitting here trying to draw a whole cube, well, that's 1. That means I have to do that 8 times, and it gets really, third graders do not take their time usually. So I told the students, instead of doing this, I just want you to make it an X. An X will be your cubes. Okay, this represents 1,000. A flat represents 100. A rod, a rectangle, represents 10. And then a unit is 1. And they're base 10 blocks because these go up in multiples of 10. So there's 10 of these little tiny units inside here. There's 10 rods inside of a flat, and there are 10 flats that make up, well, a cube. But again, it gets confusing, so we're using X's. So if I come down here, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I drew 8 X's because I know there's an 8 in my 1,000 spot. My 100 spot, oh, look, there's 2. So I'm going to do 2 flats. Are there any 10s? No, so I'm not going to draw any. Are there any 1s? Yes. There's 1, and I'm going to draw a teeny tiny unit. Okay, so that is how that one is finished. I am going to just do one quick example of how we have taught students to read numbers, because we have realized that reading is very difficult for a lot of students, and then they get confused of where they should put their digits in what place. So here's what we do. When it is written in word form, right, students are told to box in up until the comma. Okay, so that means we're going to be ignoring the rest right now. And then what number do you have? We have 8,000. 8 8,000. So, okay, I only have one number, 8. So we're going to write an 8. And then I see that word thousand. When I see the word thousand, that is where I know to put my comma. And then 546. When we ask students, how would you write 546? And they should say with a 546. Perfect. As long as you have something in the hundreds place, that tens place, and the ones place, you can write it into your number. So 546. So that is how we break it down to help students understand. And then underneath, sorry that this is a little crooked. Underneath is the same type. Of course, I can't get this to work. There we go. Is the same type of one. It's just taking these and you're doing the same exact thing. You're putting it into word form, expanded form, and model form. So if there's any questions with anything, any of these, let me know. Please do not let your student get worried if they're spelling the words wrong. Tell them to sound it out. If you as a parent want to, write out how to spell the word, how do you spell your numbers? How do you spell the, hundreds, tens, ones, thousands? Go for it. Students are not going to have to spell those words on their own during testing, but they will need to be able to read them. And then typically they have to press it and then move it to a specific location on a test. All right, so let's come over here to Tuesday. Tuesday says use the grid paper provided to compare the following numbers. So this is our grid paper, and students have been told they have to show their work. On our test, we had a lot of students think that showing work is optional, and even though I continuously told them it is not, they found out the hard way, unfortunately. It is proven that when students show their work, they are more likely to do better. So they need to know they're going to be able to oh my goodness. They need to use the greater than, less than, or equal to make this a true statement. So right here, you have 5,235. That's this first number. And then I need to figure out what is it compared to 5,253. 5,253. This comes in handy when we stack them because some friends, some of my class, a lot of them as third graders, they swap these numbers. They're like, oh, they have the same digits. They're both 5, 2, 3s, and 5s. They have that on both sides. And you're right, they do have the same digits. However, they're in not the same order. And even if they are in the same order, stack it. It's an easy way to show your work, and it's an easy way to get a correct answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in whatever place value has the largest. So on this one, we have something in the thousands. So we will start in the thousands place. We have a 5 and a 5. We ask the students, is that the same or different? Those are the same, so draw a line. Just helps you remember where you left off. Go to your hundreds place. You have a 2 and a 2. Same or different? Oh, those are same. Draw a line. Now we have 3 and a 5. Same or different? Oh, those are different. All right, well, which one's bigger? Oh, this 5 is bigger. So I'm going to circle this larger number, 5253. And I'm going to come up here and find it. Oh, there it is, 5253. And that is where I know the alligator, some kids really take to the alligator, is going to eat the larger number. All right, so this would read 5,235 is less than 5,253. Sorry that I made that a little weird looking. But, that's why we should write in pencils and not pen. All right, let's take a look. I'll do one more with you guys. Let's do this one over here. Some students might look and be like, it's the same number. But I want them to go through the same process. So same thing, write out your numbers. 4,966 and then 4,966. If they're able to see that very clearly, great, but just let them know. Be like, hey, Miss Cromwell's going to be asking you for show work, and you have to have it. So let's just go ahead and do it. So 4 and 4, same or different? Same. 9 and 9, same or different? Same. 6 and 6, same or different? Same. 6 and 6, same or different? Same. And if you realize that all of your digits have that line through, that means that they are the same numbers and that these are equal. Okay. So you're going to use this whole piece of graph paper and you're going to do that for all of these examples. All right. For Wednesday and Thursdays is pretty similar. Again, it's more review on that place value because these test scores, a lot of students were very upset. So hoping this will help them in the future as we continue on with our lessons. And then of course, once we get to preparing for like CSAs and whatnot. All right, so up here you have to read the number and write it. Okay, so if you read it all together, so 2,634 is greater than 2,463. Okay, so break it down. Let's do this first number. Students should tell you the first thing they need to do is put a box up into the comma. All right, it says 2,000. So there's only one number written there. So 2. I see the word thousand, so that's where my comma goes. And then now I'm going to focus on the 634. How do I write 634? I'm just going to put those numbers, a 6, a 3, and a 4. Okay, it's greater than, so I know that alligator is going to eat it. And now we're going to do the next number. So we have 2, and then there's 1,000. So I only have, it says 2,463. So I looked at the part before the comma. We have 2,000. Again, I only have 2 as my number. I see the word thousand. I can draw my comma. And now I'm ready to look at the rest. And that's 463. How do I write 463? Oh, well, I know there's a 4. I know there's a 6. And then I know there's a 3. So that is how you will do that. Please, please, please recommend to students to box in this because it's going to give them a great visual to break down all of these words, the word problems. At the bottom, we just did this on the other side, but I'll do one with y'all real quick. It's using the grid paper to be able to compare the following numbers. So make sure your child is stacking. If they're looking at it like this and going back and forth, there's no way for them to show their work that direction. And it also gives them a better chance of making errors. So having them stack it is a great, great, great solution to both of those problems. So number 1 says 3,824 and 3,428. And that's these two numbers up here. So I have a 3 and 3. Are those same or different? There's the same. 8 and 4. Are those the same or different? Oh, those are different. Well, which one's bigger? This one's bigger. So I'm going to circle that top one. And then I'm going to go back up here to number 1. I'm looking for 3,824. 3,824. And that is where my alligator will eat. Okay, so that is how we will do those. Coming over here to Thursday. Okay, it says put the following numbers in order. And if the students have got to be able to read. So if reading is hard, please start working with your student and read every single night. This first one is from greatest to least. I have told students to stack all the numbers. It's the easiest thing, okay? Even if you don't have grid paper, just write them. So the first one is 3289. 3289. Next is 6571. 6571. And 3892. 3892. Please remind your student that when they're writing the numbers to be very careful and make sure they line up. Because if they're not lining up, it gets very confusing of which digit is in what place. Okay? And also remind your student it's okay to underline or highlight what you're doing. Okay? So in this one, you go greatest to least. Ask your students, what does greatest mean? They should let you know it's like the largest, the biggest number. Ask them what least means, and they should be able to tell you what is the smallest number. So if I come over here in the thousands, because that's going to be my largest place value, I have a 3, a 6, and a 3. Well, I'm looking for the greatest, so which of those are the greatest? Oh, that's 6. So I'm going to go ahead and circle it, and that's my first one I'm going to write. 6, 5, 7, 1. 6, 5, 7, 1. Okay, it's up to your student if they want to put a comma or they just want to leave a big space. I know some students were getting very confused with the commas, so I'm just going to leave a large space. So now I'm going to just put one line through that because I've already used that number. So now I'm just going to be working with these two numbers. The 3 and 3. Are those the same or different? Those are the same. So nope. So go to that hundreds place. I have a 2 and an 8. Which one's larger? Because again, I'm looking for the greatest. And the 8 is the larger. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that number. And now I need to write 3, 8, 9, 2. 3, 8, 9, 2. And I can draw my line because I wrote it. And there's only one left. So I should be writing 3, 2, 8, 9. This next one is pretty much the same thing. But please make sure your child is paying attention and reads that this one is going from least to greatest. So the smaller number goes first, but they should still stack because it makes it way, way easier. Okay. Now down here we get to some of this testing questions. And the testing questions get tricky because like I've told the students, you know, the SOL is designed because they want to trick the students. They want to see, are they truly using their skills or are they just... or are they not reading it fully? Okay, so that endurance and stamina piece does play into this. Okay, so if I'm looking at here, it says, which of the following is a true statement? I have 4 different ones. And unfortunately, oh, I skipped one. I'll go back to that in a minute. Unfortunately, your student is going to have to double check every single one. Unless, of course, they get to a right one. But I always tell students, double check. Because we're all human and it's so easy for us to make a mistake. If you need extra paper, you know, we have paper in the classroom. Use some scratch paper from mail or something at home. Or I'm just going to write it over here on the sides because that's what I have available. So A, we have 462. And that says less than 425. So if I stack these, 462, 425. I see 4 and 4 in the hundreds place, and those are the same. And I'll draw a line. In the tens place, I have a 6 and a 2. All right, well, which one's bigger? The 6. Uh-oh. If I come over here, is the alligator eating this larger number with the 6? No. So is this a true statement? No. So we can slash and trash. All right, let's go to B. We have 4, 6, 9. Oh my goodness. 4, 6, 2 and 4, 9, 4. We have 4 and 4. Are those the same or different? Those are the same. So put our line. We have 6 and a 9. Are those same or different? They're different. Well, which one's bigger? The 9. So I mean, I can circle it because that's what we were doing. But we come up here, since that's the bigger one, is this alligator mouth eating the bigger number? No. So is this true? No, it's not. So we can slash and trash. If I come over to C, I have 462 and 446. Okay, in the 100 spot, I have 4 and 4. Same or different? Those are the same. 6 and 4, same or different? Those are different. Which is bigger? The 6. I'm going to circle my number. Is 462 the one being eaten by the alligator mouth? Well, yes. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to put a star because I'm pretty sure that's my true statement. But I want to go ahead and double check my last option to ensure that I did not make any mistakes. So 462 and 447. 4 and 4, same or different? They're same. 6 and 4, same or different? They're different. Which one's bigger? The 6. I'm going to circle it. Is 462 being eaten by the alligator up over here? No, no, it's not. So would it be a true statement? No. Slash and trash. So yes, my answer will be C. Okay. This next one, as far as being, it says 934 rounded to the nearest thousand. We have not gotten to this. And we will not be getting to that. I did not catch it in time before I made copies. So if your student does not do this one, that is perfectly fine. Nothing will be counted against them. They can even put just like a large X over it because we have not went over that. And we will not be doing so for a short while. But if your child does want to do it, or maybe they already know, you're going to want to write the number. So we have 934. And it says that we're rounding to the nearest thousand. So you have to ask your student, well, in 934, is there a thousand spot? And the answer is right now is no, because it would be right here in front. Okay. So we're going to, since we want to know about the thousand, that means we're going to look at this number right here. Okay. This number right here is a 9. Sorry, I made an extra line. And the 9, you have to decide. Is 9 greater than 5? Or is it less than 5? Well, they know that 9 is greater than 5. So if this is greater, that means we are going to round up. So yes, there will be a 1,000. So if you're trying to explain this to your student and they're like, I don't know, please just be okay with them not doing this. Because again, I made the error and did not catch it in time. As far as this one up here, which is true, it is the same as this, except this one's in word form. Stacking for each one of them and just going through like we did at this one is perfect. Okay. And then, of course, we have our comprehension checks on here. Oh my goodness, I keep not making it right. There we go. Remember, it is very important for your students to be able to read fluently, and being able to read with expression. If your child is reading, I have a very funny cat, that's going to be very hard for your student to be able to come back and do the comprehension questions. So if your student is still reading like that, that is perfectly fine. But it is very, very important that you are going back and just doing this constantly, or maybe not constantly, but repeatedly. Okay. Maybe what I would strongly recommend if your student struggles with reading, as you as the adult, read it first. So I would go, I would read the whole passage. And then I would let your student know and say, okay, well, let's read it together. I'll read a sentence, you read a sentence. But we have to touch the words while we're doing it. So I would read the whole thing, and then I would go back and I would say, I have a very funny cat. And then it'll be your student's turn. I have a very funny cat. And then maybe go through it all and see if they can go back and read. It does get a little time consuming, so I understand if some nights it does, you just can't, fit it in. However, I promise you that your student will become a stronger reader with this added repetition. Your student will be way more successful with your parental involvement, okay? As a third grader, your student does need to annotate. So while this passage is on a much younger reading level, all right, this is more kindergarten, maybe first grade. As a third grader, we need to annotate. That's going to be very important as our weeks go through, because it will start to be graded in class. And if students haven't annotated, I will give them back. And I'm like, okay, well, go show me where you found your answers. So let's read our story. I have a very funny cat. His name is Sam. My cat is white with orange spots. Sam likes to wear a hat. The hat is purple and blue. Sam also likes to nap a lot. He naps until he sees a rat. Well, number 1, what is the cat's name? Okay, if you ask your student and they're like, it's Sam, and you ask them, how do you know? Where did you find that? Okay, now if you have crayons, great. If not, you use just a pencil. It's really fine. This is just saying red, and that's just to annotate where you found it. Please do not write in crayons or colored pencils or pen or markers because you can't erase it. Okay, and third graders make a lot of mistakes. I do too, so I usually regret writing in pen. All right, so what is the cat's name? His name is Sam. So they can either write that word for word. His name is Sam. I'm going to write the cat's name is Sam. Again, please ensure that your child is writing in complete sentences. I have told students this last week was the last time that I accepted homework and gave a prize for incomplete sentences. So for the rest of the school year, if there's an open-ended question, or not open-ended, but if there is a question, it needs to be in a complete sentence. Okay. What color is Sam? Okay. If your child doesn't know, go back and read with them again. Again, if your student has, struggles with reading, definitely help them out. But don't just give them the answers because it is not going to help them in the long run. Okay. So my cat is white with orange spots. So with orange or just a regular pencil, whatever makes your heart happy, I'm going to put white with orange spots. And then I'm going to write it. Sam is white with orange and spots. And a period. My other thing I would like to suggest is if the words are in the story, in the passage, please remind your student that the words should be spelled correctly. It's one thing if they had to sound it out or if it's not directly in front of them, but all of these words that I wrote are up here. Okay. What does Sam like to wear? Sam likes to wear a hat. So with yellow, I'm going to put wear a hat. And then I'm going to write he likes to wear a hat. Okay, so I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This last one is, what do you think Sam does when he sees a rat? This still needs to be an incomplete sentence, but there's no color here. So since we're asking what the students think, we're trying to get students to understand, like, this comes from your own mind, as long as it makes sense. If you tell me you think Sam gets in a car and drives to McDonald's, why? Why do you say that? Why do you come to that? There could be a variety of answers. You could write, I think Sam runs when he sees a rat. I think Sam screams when he sees a rat. So whatever your child decides, they can write. But I'm going to get going because this was a little bit longer than I expected. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Please reach out if you have any questions, concerns, or anything in between. Have a great day.